Sister Code.
Episode 8.
Here we are.
5, 6, 7, 8 friends, and we are here.
It's May.
It is May. We are in the thick of spring.
Keisha just had a birthday.
I did just have a birthday, and wow. I feel like a lot has happened since then. And that's crazy because it was literally 2 weeks ago. Yeah. By the time you hear this, it'll be solid 2 weeks. Well, not solid.
Close.
It was on the 2nd, so the 15th, almost. But
yeah. That was a nice time.
It was so fun. It was so fun. We had a little birthday party. We did a few things. Honestly, I thought I was that girly that needed like a 3-day weekender like birthday, but I don't think I'm that girl anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to be that girl for this birthday even, and it was like...
Ooh, tired.
We was tired.
Unless it's like a vacation.
Yeah.
I feel like next time, let's go away,
Yeah. And also, it's like, if you're at the beach, the sun gives you the energy, and it's like, let's go, let's do it.
Let's go on an excursion. Yeah. Let's go explore. You can have a plan, and we're taking an ATV here, or we're taking a boat there. This is lots of people needing to drive and park and city things. Mm-hmm. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I was so grateful to have everybody there with me and to celebrate with me. And I feel like it's just it literally is a new year for me, but something just went into focus this birthday, and I'm really grateful and just happy to be here. Doing this with you.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. And it was really great to celebrate you. It was really great to have all our people around. And I think those moments are when you really are wow.
Yeah. Memorable.
Yeah.
Core memories. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that we've built a tribe. And, our tribe really rallies behind us and celebrates us, and it just feels really good.
It does. It does make you feel good. And we don't always get together, as a group all the time. Yeah. I think that's what made it really special for me is just, the majority of everyone coming together rather than, 1 here, 5 there, 3 there, It was just so nice. So, I feel like we've been going since March. Yeah. Since our last homegirl's birthday, it's been on the go, next thing, another club, another bus. But it's been great. Yeah. It's been a great adventure.
Yeah. Well, actually, interestingly, we are kind of going to talk a lot about that feeling of nurturing and, rallying around each other. Yeah. Our topic for today is motherly love, the art of nurturing friendships.
Mm-hmm. And they be mature too.
Well,
maturing your friendships.
Got to sometimes.
Put it in there
all the time.
Put that in the chat. Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So, what is your getting into leaning to what's going on for you this month? What's it feeling like? What's the tone? What's your 2 weeks in look like?
Well, we're coming off of Mother's Day, and I think that that's kind of just what's been reigning ever since. Mm-hmm. And even leading up to Mother's Day, thinking about how we wanted to celebrate our mother and then our younger sister who's a mother, it also kind of got me into the space of thinking oh, well, maybe one day I'll be a mother too. And it's interesting because I am coming up on 1 year of being engaged, and now we're, having the conversations that, are really real. Mm-hmm. And it makes, having those conversations also leads to other thoughts and reflection and, forethought. And so I don't know, I've kind of been feeling, thinking through what that can look like. Mm-hmm. And even down to furniture and, mm-hmm. Faith was over here the other day, our niece, and she
tearing up the house, child.
Moving all the furniture. I'm wait.
She about to be wait, honey. Just climbing on everything. Just
I need furniture that stays put.
Okay, just respecting our pillows.
Okay. And You know, the
edges, the tables.
No, at the end of the couch, you know,
what is that?
I can't think of what it's called.
Like the L of it?
No.
Was that the hard bottom part?
Downstairs. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mm-hmm. And then this one right here.
We have a sectional if you cannot see her hands, because I'm wondering why she's talking about that. What end of it? What are you saying?
The square piece, it doesn't have a back.
Okay. The end, but it does make an L, but the
actual piece? What is that called?
Of the couch?
Yeah, but it's not the couch.
Bro, I do not know. If anybody could put that in the comments,
Keisha,
if you could describe, we gotta put a picture up. I definitely
We took it out of the living room for a while.
Yeah, right.
The ottoman.
Gosh. Oh Lord, Jesus.
Gosh.
Loves me, honey.
Goodness.
We went to college. We did. We went to college. Okay, the ottoman. Okay, yeah, it moves. And she tries to Superman off that.
She moved it all day.
Yeah.
When she came over.
Yeah. Move it all around, try to go and jump on it.
Yeah.
From one, like, island to the next. Very much like floor is lava.
Yeah.
Doesn't even know it when she's playing right now. Mm-hmm. Kids are crazy.
Moral of the story is I've just been thinking through that lens a little bit more. Not like anything drastic, not like anything...
Like change up the whole thing, but...
You know, change my life, change my... Evenings, none of that. But like...
Exactly.
But... Yeah, it's just been on my mind a little bit more than usual. Yeah. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's the time of your life. Mm-hmm. I feel like, you know, thinking about baby-proofing your house and stuff is right on time. Think about, there's some cutting edges there. Mm-hmm. She's at the same height as, like, the cabinet, so she can go in there and just pull out anything, honey. Ooh, sorry. But she can pull out all the things, so, yeah. It's definitely something to think about.
Mm-hmm. What about you? What's been on your mind? How are you 2 weeks into May?
Honestly, I would say that, you know, when you have a birthday and you try to plan it and, you know, you want it to be special and all these things, I think it can be a little, like, jarring of your life. For even if it's for a couple days, whether you travel or whether you do a staycation, it can kind of shake things up. So I feel like it's now sizzling out or like kind of like fizzling down now. And I can really like, okay, see what we're left with. Like even with, you know, with my normal routine of things, because I'm a very routine girly. Like if my routine is thrown, I'm thrown off, you know? And so I think this week for me, the second week of May, I've been trying to really just get my life back on track. Get my routines back, even with like eating, working out, laundry, like all the things that, you know, adulting gives, you know. So I'm feeling a little bit more of like a grasp on it. And it's funny because my birthday for my whole life has always been the shift in seasons. And I don't know that I really acknowledge it that much until it happens. And I'm like, oh yeah, like shifting of the closet, shifting up the time frame, you know, the sun is up later, or, you know, the days seem longer, or maybe you're getting up earlier because the sun is like all these different things for me are a change, and just a slight change, but they change up my day, so I might be a little more tired, so I need to, you know, just decide to go to bed earlier. Like all these things seasonally have changed to spring, and then, you know, summer's right around the corner. So I think definitely trying to just adjust and pivot quickly and not be so like, oh, this is taking me so long to get back on track, or taking me so long to like just get back in alignment. Yeah, you know, that's kind of what it's been giving for me. So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. It's not as stressful as I'm making it sound, but it is a need to like acknowledge and like move accordingly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think like you kind of mentioned this in a pod before, and I know we talk about it a lot, how like when birthdays come, similarly to when New Year's come, you know, it's just the idea of like hitting the reset, but also just really being reflective, so that like whatever comes next is like in line with what you want the next steps to look like and the next year to look like. And so I completely understand, like we're not even 2 weeks away from like that season, or the start of that season for you. And it's cool because it's like supporting
you in that season looks a little different than supporting you in other parts of the year, you know? So it's like remembering that, like, you're going to need a little bit of space and you're going to need some more time to just kind of, like, you know, be with your thoughts and, like, I don't know, it's just cool to know that level of intimacy with people, you know? You being my sister, that I've had this, you know, experience for 30 years, and then also how that can look in our, you know, really close friendships and our partnerships, and how, like, all of it is kind of nurturing, you know, all of it is paying attention to the other person and, like, you know, providing, like, almost like little little, like, pillows and, you know, like, scaffolding if need be, but also just, like, padding around, just to make sure that it's soft. And, you know, emotions can be really high in different seasons, and definitely in birthday seasons.
Yeah, and I think that's so special, because I know that I think in our family we do make a big deal about birthdays, and I just know some folks just, you know, feel like it's another day, and that's just how they feel, which is also very cool, and it's
super valid.
For you, very valid. But I think it is nice if you have people around you, like you said, that are nurturing in nature, where it's like, well, if you do need me, I'm here. If you do want to grab a drink, that's cool. If you do want to, like, celebrate, I got you there. It's like whatever you want to do. And that's been really special to have that, and to see it come to fruition and be like, wow, like, it's better than I thought, but now maybe I need to go and, like, do some planning and do my own thing. But you're like, okay, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'll be okay. I'm just trying to get our life together, you know. So mothering in nature, but even from afar, but close. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, awesome. Love it.
Well, today our sis picks are a little different. Again, we're coming off of Mother's Day, and we were just thinking about our mother and our grandmother, and also just kind of, like, little things that we've learned from them, whether they directly taught something or they just showed up this way and we noticed. And so the sis picks we want to kind of talk through are, like, the things that we love about, whether it's our mother or our grandmother, who are, like, our big maternal figures, things that we notice about them that we want to bring into, like, our friendships, our sisterhoods, and, you know, our relationships in general. So what are your thoughts about that? What's your pick?
My pick is, actually, it's so funny, somebody asked me right before Mother's Day, what do you feel like you're most alike as your mom? And I feel like the same thing that I like and that she's given me is that she never stops dreaming. She's always a dreamer, and she's very optimistic. I mean, like, that can happen, and she believes in you. And literally anyone who comes across her, it could be your friend of yours, it could be your partner, it could be just somebody she met, and they could, you know, tell her, you know, their story, and she is all in, bought in, tell me when, I'll show up and support you, and just pushes you to feel at least like you can do anything. And that's just such a beautiful thing that I feel like she does for us, and something that I think that has made me who I am, and made me actually use that as part of my job, which is crazy. So that's one thing that I love about her, and I feel like she's passed to me.
That's so sweet. If you see them together, they might be twirling in the kitchen.
Okay, just dreaming. Just creating dreams and crying until we laugh until we cry. I mean, it's always been to her, she just really feels like we can do anything. She is that human for us, that mother for us. So, for sure, that's one of mine. But how about you?
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. That very much so is her. The thing that or one thing that I want to take into relationships and friendships, and something that, you know, I've been practicing, you know, throughout the years. And and I didn't necessarily know it was directly from her until I like stood back and realized like, oh, I do this because my mom did this, you know.
Realize,
but it was just like really thoughtful, like little gifts and gift giving and intentionality in gift giving. So like, you know, it was Mother's Day the other day. I've said it like 5 times, and she came over and she's like, oh, I have something for you.
She always does that.
I have something for you.
It's so sweet.
I'm like, I didn't even get to give you your Mother's Day.
Right, like, girl, today's for you.
You know?
Literally, yeah.
And so she's like, oh, should I get it? And so she goes downstairs and she brings back this like yellow outdoor blanket.
I saw that. It's beautiful, and it's so you.
Cute.
It's like so all your colors. Like she's got it down.
Yes, and not only was it like thoughtful in that it was me, and it's something that I'm going to use, and it's something that, you know, I am going to love. But like it also was like, oh, I know you have a trip coming, like
perfect timing.
And it's not even like it's coming right around the corner. It's just like the idea that she had that forethought, you know.
She heard you say something.
She heard me say something, and she's tweaked from the time I was little, you know. And it's always been whatever I'm into right then, whatever like piece of information she pulled from a conversation that we've had, that she's like created, you know, a Rolodex of things that like, okay, this is what my daughter needs. This is what will bring her some joy, whether it's, you know, and when thinking about this pick, I was like, oh, you know, like, she's so much more than like a great gift giver, but it is something that's so special that like, it's not about the gift, it's about the intentionality and the thoughtfulness and just being thought of.
Yeah. And she remembers and she listens and she shows it in with her gift giving, which is a whole different ball game.
For sure.
That's so dope. What do you feel like one is with grandmother? Because, i.e., we call our grandmother because she does not want to be called grandma, and she's made that very clear. So hopefully she hears this and she's giggling because that is not her vibe. So one of our cousins one day called her grandmother, and she just, like, he's the oldest of the grandkids, and it just stuck with us. So if you're grandmother, the whole thing's, you know, because not everybody does that. That's not a thing. People are like, G-ma, grandma. And she does have the nicknames for, like, the great-grands. With the first grands,
we weren't allowed to do anything but
that was all.
That was all. That was it. That was my name.
That's all.
Don't call me out my name.
Exactly. Don't call me out grandma. And don't call me grandma.
Right.
No shade to the grandmas out there. It's a beautiful name, but it's not for her. Can I say mine?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because the first thing that comes to mind is that my grandmother is a prayer warrior. And I say that because I don't think growing up I knew what that meant or even really understood it. But if I could pin it on some human that I've ever seen do it, it's her, because she believes in her relationship with God, and she believes in speaking to Him directly, not going through any one person, a reverend, a minister. She goes directly to Him like that is her Father, and she asks for what she wants, and she believes in what she says. And I feel like growing up, I saw her doing it. I saw her, to the point of kneeling by her bed, to the point of waking up and praying, to the point of, praying with other people, going to their bedside at the hospitals, doing the work. And that's how I've always seen her. And it's just to see her live it out and then teach us how, and even though we didn't understand, it didn't matter. It was okay, but this is what we do, and this is how I communicate. This is my relationship, showing that whether we giggled about it or we kikied about it or not when we were little, we're like, oh, that's just grandmother, she does that. But understanding now what that looks like as an adult and having that relationship, I saw that in her first, and she's been unmoved by anything else. She's like, that's where I go, that's where you should go. And so that, I think she instilled that in me, and I think I've gotten that from her, and now kind of pass it along with my friends, and even praying with mom, everybody, just having that nurturing nature of when it gets tough, this is where I go, because I've seen it played out.
Mine is connected to that. I think for me, the thing that I think about when I think of grandmother, and one of the things that I want to embody is just her boldness in sharing what she believes in her faith, you know? Yeah. The way that, you know, she doesn't back down from sharing her testimony.
She just is that girl, and yeah. She doesn't, and I think what's nice about it too is like she doesn't try to push her ideals on you. She just says her story.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't know about you, I don't mind whatever you feel, but what I know for me is that God is real, and this is how I move and talk to him. This is our relationship. It's not, you know, it's no smoky mirrors, it's no like sparkles and glitters. It's like, I've been in some tough, and then like you said, she's told her testimony, I've been in some tough situations.
Yeah.
Tough isn't even the word. That's such an understatement, you know. But this is where I got filled. I've been, you know, saved from. This is where I've been pulled from. This is the, you know. So I don't want to go too much into her. We'll have to have her on one day.
I was just thinking that. I think that,
you know, testimony.
I was a little like, it takes me like a moment to talk about her because it's just, I want you to hear it from her.
Honey, and if you did, you would know.
I want you to hear it from her.
If you did, you would know. You would understand.
She's so special.
She is so special and so loving of all humans. And so, yeah, we'll have to have her on one day.
Absolutely.
Snaps for the G-Ma. Oh, we can't call her that. You know, she's got different names now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, people are calling her Oma. People are calling her G-Ma. Yeah. We weren't allowed to do that. You know how they get soft. They get a little soft as the more kids come. I see you. We also have the same birthday, so shout out to my twin. Okay, going into the code breakdown. This is a moment in the show where we kind of just break down what it is we talked about being the code. Again, just a reminder, the code is basically around motherly love and the art of nurturing friendships and sisterhoods within that. Just nurturing them in that kind of way that we do. I think also it's important to just acknowledge that nurturing doesn't just come from the female. You know, someone who identifies as female. You can have many pronouns and still show up in a nurturing, amazing, supportive way. We're just speaking towards our mothers because, you know, it's Mother's Day and our mothers identify. I think their pronouns are she, her, I would say. But, you know, it can come from anyone. It can come from any guardian, parent, anyone, auntie, uncle, you know, any person can show these nurturing kind of like moments because not everybody, you know, has their mom with them at this current time. So we just want to show love and understanding, and our heart goes out to folks who have their mothers here with them, or maybe they've moved on, or maybe they're just not connecting with them at the time.
Yeah. And also in recognizing that Mother's Day can also be tough, and like the topic of mothers can be tough, especially for those who are looking to be mothers and you know, and haven't in the way that they've wanted to. Absolutely. You know, and I think that that's also what got us thinking about just like the idea of nurturing in general, and like a nurturing spirit, and like finding ways to like let that out. You know, that feeling of wanting to nurture, wanting to care, and like different outlets for what that looks like. I know in our friendship circles right now, we don't have many children in our friendship circles, and a lot of our friends don't have children right now, and so I think it's been a really cool time to kind of like decide how we want to nurture our friendships and our sisterhoods in ways that like doesn't feel rushed and doesn't feel like overwhelming. Yeah, it gives space and room for like the love right now just on each other. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. One of the ways that we this past year and a half now have kind of pieced that together for our friends, or with our friends, rather, is that we do what we call First Friday. So every first Friday of the month, we come together and we have snacks and we have wine and we talk about our lives and catch up, and we read through books, we have conversations. It's just really, really special, and
so special.
It has grown to be something that we all, I think, really value and treasure and like hold, dear to our hearts. It's something that like we really try to all be there if we can. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
And it's the most we've really been able to like be around our friends in like maybe the past like 5 years, you know,
intentionally,
right?
Yeah,
in that way. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, of course, like we've always been like it before this. It was always birthdays. That's when we come together, and now it's nice to have an extra set of like hardcore. We're gonna do it this way that we all honor.
Yeah. We do, and if you're not able to make it, it's grace there as well. But like it is, to me, it's like the highlight, and it is the beginning of the month. And sometimes the beginning of the month, you really sometimes might need the support of your friends, and you just haven't had time to call or haven't put that coffee date together. And so I think it does set it up for us to start our month strong, talk about the wins and the opportunities from the last month, and we just get to kiki together, and it's just such a good time. Like I always leave so much more filled than when I came.
Yeah.
First Fridays.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, going into the breakdown, I wanted us to kind of give an example of how we've given that nurturing nature or that motherly love. Mine was kind of explains more or in depth and detail of like who I am and why I do that I do. Growing up, I was the first child, so shout out to the first babies. And I think my nurturing spirit really started, and it like grew from there, because obviously I was like your older sister first, and then literally 10 years later, my mom had Grace, and so it started off with just us two for a while, and we were only a few years apart, so we were really close, and we kind of had each other as we kind of started this whole thing talking about, but there's something about, also in our lives, our parents really made it clear that they wanted us to be close and wanted us to look out for each other, take care of your sister, like, not everybody had that, where it's like part of our code came from our parents.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it directly came from them, because there are a lot of times it was like, no, like I don't want to do that, or I don't want, why do I go to the birthday party and my sister has to come too? It's like, or whatever, or maybe vice versa, or, the situation was very much like bring your sister. Yeah. And that's not always the case, but because of that, we've kind of nurtured this relationship. Yeah. But it all started with, for me, being the oldest sister, and my parents our parents instilling in us truly kind of what, at least an outline of what sisterhood looks like. Yeah. Like you take care of your sister, you look out for her, you're not mean to her, you don't, treat her wrong, you make sure she's okay, and all these different things. And now talking about it is like truly where the code comes from. Yeah. And I feel like it's like full circle right now. Yeah. On the 8th episode of like, dang, it really started with our mothers, our parents, our nurturers. That's kind of wild. Yeah. Having that like real, because we talk about how we did have it, but we don't really usually talk about where it came from. Yeah. But that's kind of cool. So that's where it came from for me. Yeah. And where it started. But what's your part of your breakdown? Did you have one?
I think it also adds to like the unconditionality of our relationship, Yeah. And I don't mean unconditionality, like toxic unconditionality, where it's like, no matter what, you could never do anything that could ever make me, like,
there's no accountability, no boundaries.
Not that, obviously. Because, we're both coming in with a space of like, hey, I know that she has a level of unconditionality about me, so I'm going to be respectful and responsible with knowing that, But I think it's also really cool because there's safety in that. There's safety in knowing that you know that I love you unconditionally, and I know that you love me unconditionally, right? And I wish there was a better word for that. If I think of something,
okay, we'll
I'll add it in, you know?
Yeah.
But just that safety is really special.
Yeah.
And I think it was also birthed in how our parents just kind of said, okay, well, like, you're mad at her, okay. But that's your sister. You know, like, not that that's your sister, so just forgive her and leave it at that. But like, that is your sister. Keep that in mind when you're going into these conversations. Keep in mind that you guys are both you guys are both thinking, oh, but that's my sister. You know, so I have to come in with a level of humility and
on both ends.
with a real desire for resolve, as opposed to
being like,
only the desire to get my point across.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like, that's there.
Yeah.
And that is something that, you know,
it's valid. Absolutely.
We still try to get our points across in our conversations, you know, but there is just that humility aspect that like comes into that balances things. And
I think to that also, you know, I wonder if, I know there's folks that maybe have been hurt by their sisters, that maybe they haven't come to that resolve, or maybe that's not their story, but you know, with outside help too, that can be really helpful, like therapy, somebody unbiased kind of in the middle of like maybe what that hurt looks like can also be helpful. Like we've both been to therapy and separately, and you know, it's really helpful too to work through your own emotions. And
I think that one thing that reigns true is that we are very privileged in having that setup, right? It's not something that everybody has. It's not that it's something that's completely typical, that you have your parents kind of like helping to cultivate a relationship from the time we were our age. Like, I think it's why we find it so special, because it was a gift to us, too. You know, as much as we love each other, and as much as we work towards our relationship now, like, if it weren't for that, who's to say we would have the relationship that we have?
Absolutely. Because it is, it's really that nature, or I'm sorry, it's the nurture versus nature, I guess. Because, like, I think had it been left up to our own devices, we would have kind of been like, we maybe would have been close. I don't know. I don't even want to say. I don't know.
What's interesting is
crazy to think.
Our friends aren't necessarily like the other person. You know what I mean? Your friends aren't necessarily like your natural friends, like the ones that you gravitated in college, like the ones you gravitated on your own in your own spaces, aren't necessarily like me, and vice versa. Which I think is cool.
It's cool, but I think what is at the core, and I think that's what is at the core of us too, is like the things that we hold dear.
Absolutely.
Like the characteristics, the things that are like foundational, they haven't changed. That's why I don't know, would it have changed that much? Or maybe we wouldn't be as like tight.
We would have found each other eventually.
Right, all roads lead here, honestly. But and not trying to like overthink that part. But very much like it's not normal. That's what I'm trying to say. And unless it is nurtured. And even with that, I mean,
it's not always natural.
It's not always natural. It's not always natural. And that's fine. And you can also find your community, and your chosen family can be like your sisters and and things like that too. So
and like you said, it sometimes it just takes a little bit of therapy, and sometimes and not because therapy fixes everything, but because sometimes it takes someone who can be objective to the situation of your relationship with yourself, with your sister, with your sibling, or with anybody, to kind of help guide conversations that need to be had.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Just the same way our parents guided conversations that we had when we were younger.
Absolutely. And it didn't come out perfect.
No.
Not by any means. And it won't. It won't ever be perfect. But yes, if you have a little guidance, a little help, we all need a little help. We all need a little guidance. Go therapy, friends.
Absolutely. Well, Now's the time that we like to air our dirty laundry. With Sister Confessions.
I'm in a singing mood today. Oh, what were you about to do? D's and Mac? Were you about to do that? What were you about to do?
No, I was, but I'm not.
Oh, do it! Do it!
I'm not.
Yeah, little Ursha.
No, honestly, Keisha has been in the singing mood, so if you would like to, go ahead.
No.
Okay, I don't know. I just didn't know if you needed to let the energy out.
I'm not gonna let it out yet.
I didn't know. I don't know.
Okay, period.
Well, with Sister Confessions, we talk about how we missed the mark.
It's probably what you wait for. This is probably like, you know, what number is this in the video? Yeah, scroll to like 42:15. Yeah. You know what I mean?
35.
Yeah. What's really going on? It's like, all right, this is real tea.
Well,
what's your tea?
If you stayed this long.
Not if, when.
Because you stayed this long.
Because here's your reward.
Here's a gift.
Here's your reward. Here's the real tea.
So, I mean, I think that all we talked about was so sweet.
So
and
nice.
So loving.
Gentle, warm.
So nurturing. And if I'm being like a little shimmy moment.
Okay.
If I'm being, you know, completely
100K.
raw.
Yeah.
These are the things that, with busy schedules,
talk about it,
are hard to stay consistent with.
Period.
You know,
adulting
it's like to do it is to plan it. To plan it is to pause. To pause is
to sit. And not sleep.
To rest.
Right. To rest is to not sleep.
Well, here we are. And so I preface my confession with the fact that sometimes our intentions are there and, you know, wrapping all the pieces together, bringing all the spokes of the wheel together, don't always align with like a perfect
like outcome.
Yeah. And I think that that's the thing that I always have to like remind myself in these moments to.
So what's the convention?
Well, let me get there. Come on, I'm getting there.
Tell us, girl. We're waiting. We're on the edge of our seat.
Come on. All I'm saying is. Sometimes you have a plan to add some nurturing juice into a friendship, into a relationship, and the intention did not always lead to the action.
Okay.
And that's my
So
confession.
you're saying we or you?
Well,
let's get into it. Tell us what it's really about.
What I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's me.
Okay. Hello. It's me.
Sometimes it's on the to-do list and just not on the calendar. And that just means that I wrote in the to-do list in March and it's May and I looked at the to-do list again because I keep them, you know. I do physical writing style.
Okay.
And I cross things off that are done. And I write everything down, whether I know I'm going to do it this month or next month or another, you know, tomorrow.
Yeah.
I write it down so that everything eventually gets checked off. So I go back to...
Wow. So you go back weeks to then make sure it gets checked off, or...
Yeah, because, you know, I bullet journal, and so it's not that it's very far. The way that I have my bullet journal set up, it's not that I'm flipping.
Okay.
It's like 1 month is a couple pages.
What do you guys call yourselves? The Boo Jews?
Look.
Let's get into it.
That's not.
Is it the Boo Jews?
No, I'm not going to do it because you're not putting respect on it.
No,
What's your confession?
What is it? Okay, you did give yours. You gave yours a couple times. Appreciate that. Honestly, like we were talking about, I feel like as a collective, we've been doing really good as linking, like to link as a group.
Yeah.
I have not been linking with people one-on-one. I feel like that's almost been my excuse because, like, I've been linking in a group. Like, we're doing great once a month. That is on the calendar.
Yeah.
These that I do want to have them, but these like one-off coffee dates or like let's go make a pottery mug or whatever. Like I I don't think I've been making them a priority like I want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think it is important to have one-on-one interactions and connections with your friends. And that's just been getting kind of lost in the to-dos too, and I just want to be better at that.
Yeah.
So just the one-on-one, like the connections and the calls, you know what I mean? The follow-ups, the thank you so much. Like, I've been meaning to do thank you letters, you know, from the B-Day, and it's 2 weeks in, and it's on the to-do list, but is it at the top? It should be, right? Because I want to be showing more gratitude, but, you know, again, adulting, sometimes that things get pushed down, or like you said, we're looking back at March, like, yeah, yo girl, meant to hit you up, but the way my life's been going, you know? Let's get into some tips, sis tips. I think these are some of we wanted to come up with ideas on how we can kind of simultaneously work on the code, and then also kind of work on the things we need to personally work on. So you can take these as ideas if it's something that aligns with something you were trying to work on too, or they're just also really fun ways for us to connect and nurture and, you know, bring that into our friend groups and things. So the first one was, I really love to host dinner parties, events, intimate things where people can be filled with food and drinks and just be merry and have a good time. And so I think that I'm going to continue to do that, be intentional about that, but maybe plan a more simplified version of like host a little something like, I just, you know, there's so many different ideas. I'm a Pinterest girly, you know, there's so many things you can kind of get lost in. But the first thing that comes to mind is just something that's just like kind of chill. Maybe something where everybody takes their socks and shoes off, and we're like, we have a space at the top of our house where it's like basically no furniture, so maybe it's all pillows, and we're just having like a movie night, and we do mask, and we just giggle and have wine. And like, I think the part about it sometimes that can paralyze me, and maybe you too, is like the planning, the calling everyone. Do I have to send a thank you card? Does it need to be virtual? Does it need to be in the mail? Like all these like super planned out, like cute curated things. I don't think it needs to always be so curated. It can just be like, girls, can y'all just come over? I want to hang out, and not let it be super tight. Yeah. You know, like.
And I think you kind of alluded a little bit to kind of I feel like where the pressure comes from, you know, like seeing these images online of like what a girls' night's supposed to look like, or, you know, how to do a themed party, but you have to do it this way so you can take the pictures, so you can post it, so you can say that you did one too. And while I think we both absolutely connect with that pressure, I think the most freeing thing has been allowing those Pinterest boards and like those Instagram posts to give us like ideas that we can like do whatever we want to, however our entry point is, you know. And if our entry point is that we found the Aztec clay mask and we have some apple cider vinegar and we brought it upstairs, our friends are gonna love it. Because not because of anything other than the idea and the intentionality of being together.
Back to what Mom was saying too, what we're talking about with Mom, where it's like, it's the intention behind it, it's the mindfulness, where it's like, wow, you just made an effort. It doesn't have to be perfect,
and it's like, you know, that I don't know if I'm gonna say this right, but don't let perfect be the enemy of done. Maybe I don't know, like that. But just the idea that just finding time to gather
is the thing,
is huge, and is something that a lot of people don't have naturally, because you might not be besties with all your work friends. You don't see your, you know, the people that you want to see as often as you might see.
You would like, but you can make time.
But absolutely,
because time you can't get back. And honestly, it doesn't need to be perfectly placed together. I feel like a lot of us would just appreciate a friend being like, hey, you want to come over on a Friday? No pressure. Bring, you know, yourself and sit down and not have to like get cute. You don't even have to go anywhere. Let's just like have our toes out and just you know, faces
and you know, if we can even split an Uber Eats. Like, sometimes even the pressure of like, oh, well, I gotta feed the person and I gotta,
host. Yeah. Host can be a lot, especially for us too, because we've been wanting to have this host hat so heavy, and I think it's because we are inspired to host. We are some people have different interests. One of ours is to host and curate events, but not everything has to be an event. I think that's the part that we kind of be going with, like, oh, well, we should have cute little things with tea and like flowers, but not everything requires that.
Right.
Love that. Okay, what's your tip? Yeah.
One of my tips is to create a shared bucket list.
Ooh, like for the summer even.
For the summer, but it doesn't even have to be like connected to a time and limited to time, because these are people that the goal is that you're with for a lifetime. So I think just even the idea of sitting down together and like saying out loud some things that you want to do together gives both of you or the group of you sparks of memory, or spaces to connect to a memory to what you can do.
Right.
I don't know why that sentence was hard.
But that's real though. That's
goodness.
You was pulling. You got it. You grabbed it. You pulled it down.
It was going. So
it was.
I had to add extra words because it's like it's going, but I need it.
It's gone. Oh, but you pulled it. I pulled it like a little.
I tried.
You got it. You hold on.
I don't know what it was though. What was it?
We were saying about how I don't know. We both have ADD. Why are we sitting here trying to act like we took too long in that balloon pull? That was it. That was it.
The analogy. Was it about the
trying to be a team child? Trying to throw a metaphor in there.
Oh man! Just write down what y'all want to do together, and hopefully, it makes it so that it is easier to actualize.
Yeah, because you're talking about it,
right?
Really, all this is like communication too,
and it's something else to check off. And checking out feels good.
Yeah. And then I think what you're saying with the bucket list is like you're creating memories like almost organically, but with a little bit of planning.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what adulthood like needs. Yeah. It needs a little plan, and then we can go have fun.
And flexibility.
Flexibility. Well, see, this is
don't forget the flexibility.
This is the one. Taste doesn't work for me, but I don't know. Are you that girly? Are you the last minute cancel girly?
Are you asking me something?
No, I'm not.
That you
I wasn't
know
assuming.
about me?
No. I was trying to just
hold up.
Know who you.
If y'all
allow you to tell.
Not only are we sisters, not only are we besties, we also live together. So for you to act like
I really wasn't.
If this was or wasn't a trait of mine that you wouldn't know, that's where the disrespect is.
Say your piece, because to be honest, they don't know that. I'm asking. It actually just triggered a question in my mind. Now you answer it how you will, and I'll just sit here and listen to it. Whatever you say. But I'm saying, are you a person who? Well, let's just say this. Let's reframe it. Are you a person that needs a plan 2-3 weeks out, maybe a month out, or if somebody hits you with like a week away, are you there? Like, or are you like, let me get my life?
I think that I do. Interestingly, I have a lot of anxieties around making plans too far out.
Okay.
And I think it has to do with like feeling like I need to be able to trust that I had a system to make sure that I knew that needed to happen.
Ooh, so like, so if somebody tells you like, hey, well, I won't even say, let's go to dinner.
Yeah.
And it's 4 weeks out.
Yeah.
June 1st. What is your issue? Or are you describing what is
so
your anxiety?
So I guess what I'm saying is, if you ask me that on that day,
you're already
have my bujo with me,
then we okay.
It's locked in.
Oh, but if you don't have all the tools you need,
but if I don't have all the tools, just because I'm out and you're saying, "Hey, girl, I haven't seen you in so long."
Yeah. You're like,
let's plan a TT.
Yeah.
because I'm not digital, and in some ways I'm digital, and some, like, my work calendar is all digital, but, like, the, like, friend calendar is still kind of...
Was that your Google Calendar for the most part? It's your Bujo.
It's my Bujo.
We should call this, girl, go grab your Bujo. Girl, go get you a Bujo. Okay, so you are very connected to this Bujo. So if you don't have it, it's like, for me, it's my Google Calendar.
Yeah.
So I can put it on there. So only if it's not on there, it's no telling if I'll see it on my, my planner. That girl doesn't get pulled out.
And that's the thing. It's a mix of things. Okay. And so, like, it's I'm still growing the habit of pulling out Google Calendar with my friends.
Got it.
At work, that's your obviously it's on the calendar. Okay. That's how we do it.
So do you? But you have a separate calendar, obviously, for work and then for play, right? For personal. So you're saying you're trying to get in the habit of putting your personal calendar all digitally.
Yeah.
And that being comfortable.
Yeah.
Got it.
But while I still have this connection to physically
writing it down, which, like, so me too.
And it's also something that, like, I really cherish because I love to look back at them.
Yeah, you do.
I'm not going to look back at my Google Calendar and be like, oh, it was so nice when we went and...
Yeah. I'm that way with photos. That's why, I mean, my photos in my phone is like, girl, I need to get a drive for these because I like to look back at them. Not just post, but, like, I like to sit in the memory of, like, wow, and it's time-stamped and everything. So I get that for sure. But okay, so if it's in the, if somebody calls you, you got the Bujo in hand or at the car or whatever close to you, it's locked in. Mm-hmm. If not, call me back.
Or maybe it is, if you know this about me, like, hey, let's put it in the calendar.
Okay.
Because it's like, if it's in the calendar, it's also locked in. Okay. It's just a matter of, there's sometimes a gap between it being put somewhere.
Right, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Outside of my head.
Ooh, girl, which is, for me, is like... Yeah.
Don't get trapped in that forest.
Okay, girl. Exactly. Okay. My next tip, is to organize a memory jar. And I really love this idea because basically it's this start a memory jar with you and your friend, and you can write down special moments, inside jokes, or memories you've shared together. At the end of the year, read through the notes together and kind of reminisce on all the good times. And I think that's so fun because, like I said with photos, anything that I feel like can take me back and make me feel kind of warm and fuzzy is always a good thing for me. And I feel like a reminder, because, I mean, just for an example, even, for Apple phone users, I don't know if Android does this, but they send you back those, like...
memory.
Yeah, those, like, memory photo albums and stuff, and they'll just be, like... Most of the times I'm having, like, a tough day and I'll get one. I'm like, okay, God, see you. But also, very much, yes, like, wow, I do remember this. I do remember when we did that. This is a little bit different to where it's, like, it is a little more tangible, and it kind of creates a project you guys can do together and, like, bond over. So maybe while you're having this cute little night, one of these nights during the summer, and you're just like, let's put together this little jar. It's easy to have a few pieces of cute paper and, like, write down the things, the jokes, or the times, and then come back together. Because most of the times these people you're going to see all year, I would think, or every once a while throughout the year. So maybe it's not you're seeing them all the time, but maybe if they're from out of state, they come visit you, you go through your, you add something to the jar. Just little ways to kind of, like, stay connected and, like, have some really good memories to reminisce about. I think that's really cool.
Nurturing them friendships. That actually reminds me of something that me and Jewel have done for now many years. There's this book, it's called You, Me, Us. It's often sold at Five Below.
Period.
It's almost always there, I think, actually. Okay. So,
anybody can pretty much grab it.
Get it. It is a book of, like, these little picture prompts where it's like they've kind of drawn out everything for you. You're just kind of, like, adding in, right? So, like, it might say, like, 4 places that we've been together, and there's, like, 4 circles, or there's 4 arrows, or something that you can, like, either write inside or draw inside. And since we've been, I guess it's been probably since we were still in college, when we hang out, and it's not every time we hang out, but but it happens quite often that we'll do a page in the book, just one page, and so now we have a book that's like filling up that, you know, we have little drawings, we draw with crayon, and like, it's really nostalgic to look back at, and it reminds me of that memory jar, so Five Below.
Grab that thing. That's dope.
It's a really good one.
Plug.
It's a good one.
I love it. Any other tips from you?
Yeah, I'll do one more tip. Okay. And that is just to try a new hobby together.
Ooh.
I think that as adults, sometimes hobbies can get lost in things that we used to do versus things that we have time for.
Right.
And whether it's a hobby that you are picking back up, I know for me, I used to really love sewing. And I had a sewing machine, and like I was like a little grandma at 10. And
which is cool. I always thought sewing was so cool.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it was something that I had the time for and I had the energy for during that season of my life, and I just haven't picked up in a long time. And so, again, like if it's trying something new, beautiful. That's new for both of you. But also, just bringing up like, hey, like I used to crochet. Have you ever crocheted? Like, do you think it's something you'd want to do? Yeah. Like, let's pick up a book, and you know, I'll send you an Amazon cart for the things that I know I have. Right. And let's see what we can make. You know, and when we hang out together, maybe we aren't watching a show today. Maybe we're gonna have little tutorials.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. I love that.
So I think that that's something that I want to do more of. It's not something that I have actually tried, but I want to try it.
These are all things that are like we've maybe had a little taste of, but maybe not done intentionally with someone else. Right. So I think it's really cool to like, you know, just test these out, see how they go. And I just feel like with your friends, with your loved ones, they're going to be those core memories. Yeah. Even if you're just trying, and if you're like, you know what, forget the crochet, let's do a mask and lay out, you know, and watch a movie or whatever, but it's like you made time to intentionally come together. Yeah. That makes it special.
And either way, that time was quality.
Well spent. Exactly. I love that.
It was quality time.
Exactly.
Alright, so we are coming to an end. And here in our last segment, we like to send y'all off with a challenge. But it's not just sending y'all off with a challenge. It's something that we also want to try out for this month to grow closer to each other, to our sisters outside of each other. And that is that we would love to just sit down and journal a little bit if that's your style, if just, you know, relaxing with some lo-fi is your reflection choice. Take some time and really think through what nurturing looks like in your life. If you have pent up nurturing energy that you want to release, if you have some you know, core things that, or maybe even triggers that you have when it relates to the idea of nurturing and mothers and who they are and what they are in your life and all of those things. Just take some time to just lay in it and piece through it a little bit. And maybe come up with some things that you want to try out, or maybe just get to a better place of understanding of just where you are with that idea.
Yeah. And I think even just to piggyback off what you're saying is like, it kind of reminds me of this idea of, you know, new moms, like right before they have their child, they do that practice of like, I feel like it's like self-love and love for the house and everything that's called nesting. And obviously there's a new life coming in, but maybe you're trying to like, this is so weird to say, but also like just coming to me, maybe you're trying to like birth a new type of life for yourself. So maybe you can do a little nesting at your home and like, you know, make that one little part of your bathroom more of a spa area, or like buy a few things that are new, a few tops, or the things that you really, some nice luxury pajamas that you only wear around the house, and, just kind of your own nesting for maybe the new you that you want to become. And then you can invite your friends over and kind of have a little nesting party, nesting of in nature of like, your 30s, your 40s, like whatever, just celebrating with each other, and as you were saying, just challenging yourself to just live a full and luxurious life, however that looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think that is also a cool way to do the challenge. I think that's how I want to do it anyway, obviously.
Look, honestly, you have just been giving me all I needed to hear to know that I needed to hop on over to Target.
Oh, see, you know what? Honestly,
to get a little bit.
And do a little something, like do a little bit for yourself, because I think you are a better sister and you are able to nurture others when you are nurturing and taking care of yourself.
Yeah. Agreed.
Period.
Well,
so 5, 6, 7, 8.
We'll leave y'all to nurturing.
Yeah, nurture yourself, nurture your loved ones, and nurture somebody maybe you don't even know. Just showing a little love, a little compassion. That's what we on in May. Yeah. Beautiful. All right.
April showers have brought May flowers.
It has. We're blooming. We're blossoming. Talking about our garden from last month, I think we've gotten some buds.
Yeah.
Got some pieces that are growing.
Last month we
honey, our garden was looking.
We gave it to y'all. We showed y'all.
We served it
our dried up.
Ooh, child. It was raining. Or maybe it started raining after the episode. I almost feel like the last half was like, okay, we need a little rain, because rain's not always bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a little rain here. Let's do it. This is Jill's
my favorite.
We're going to keep it. Let's do it. Okay.
All right. Through the ups, the downs, and the darkness, our guiding light is love.
Let me make sure. Ting.
The real sister code.
The real sister code, baby. Bye.
Bye.
You're crazy, isn't
you? You are crazy. You're a crazy girl.
I know. We gotta get crazy. They want to see a little bit of us, honey. They want to see us.
She get it from my mama.
Exactly. No, seriously.
She is crazy.
Yeah, she is crazy. I think we gotta put that in. Yeah, she is crazy. Bye.